and give more faces to this issues with perspectives with the help of our in-house analyst side forward, which we will also be joining us shortly, just very shortly. But before then, you can join us live on Facebook and YouTube at Mila 98.3 FM. You can also listen via Radio Garden, regardless of your location. Download the Radio Garden app and then you search for Mila 98.3 FM, and then you definitely get to listen and join the conversation at any point in time. And don't forget that you can always subscribe to our YouTube channel to get more updates. And of course, you can follow us on all social media platforms: Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube, on TikTok as well. You can definitely always get to see what's going on. Whatever content we put out there, you get to enjoy at every point in time. Yes, and our website is also very much easy to use, accessible for you to join us anywhere and any time of the day. Right, we'll try to connect with Side Forward so we can kickstart the conversation this beautiful morning, the 5th day in the month of December 2025. We'll look through political issues, we'll look through business issues, socio-economic, be it health, be it education, be it sports, whatever it is that the dailies have in store for us, we'll see. And just you can always trust us and ride on our shoulders to do that for you and to fulfill the part of the promise every morning, right? To keep you abreast. Okay, just give me a few seconds to get through to Side Forward, and we'll get on to the business of the day.
You are listening to the Morning Express on Mainland 98.3 FM.
Good morning. Oga Police, no worry, I see you. You know you can do the right thing, right? You know you can do without that bribe. You know you don't even have to harass that young man because he is properly dressed. And you think he's a Yahoo boy? You don't even have to assault that citizen whom you have sworn an oath to protect. Yes, we understand that the pay is not good enough to take you home, that you are still wearing a uniform that you bought with your own money 5 years ago. It's no news that the government has not done enough by you. We feel your pain and we wish things could be different as we continue to call on government to wake up to their responsibilities. We want the police to be our friends, just as it is boldly stated across the various police stations nationwide. And from Mainland 98.3 FM, we implore you to do better. We love you and we support you always.
You are listening to the Morning Express on Mainland 98.3 FM.
Good morning.
Trends in the papers on Mainland 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos. Good morning, Side Forward.
Yeah, good morning, Lady Mo. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you. How are you doing too?
Fantastic. Good.
Okay, that's good. That's good to know. TGIF, thank God it's Friday, and happy weekend in advance to you. Oh, it's already we're starting our weekend already. Okay, so you're welcome on board to Trends in the Papers. Right. Yesterday, the ex-CDS was sworn into office. He took the oath of office yesterday. That's the new defense minister, and of course, the Nigeria's newly appointed Minister of Defense, General Christopher Musa, retired, had mentioned yesterday after his oath of office that Nigerians would see tangible progress in national security, within the shortest possible time, as he also pledged to reinforce coordination among the armed forces to enhance cooperation with security agencies and mobilize citizens in the collective push against insecurity. And he also, thanked Nigerians for what he described as, overwhelming goodwill, saying that he was determined to repay their confidence through decisive actions. In that breath, also, we have the NSA, the National Security Advisor, that's Nuri Ribadu, during a peace dialogue in Abuja yesterday, also warned that non-state actors that are exploiting community vulnerabilities or undermining national unity would face decisive action, even as he also stressed the fact that Nigeria remains the Sahel last standing democracy despite years of unrelenting security threats, that this also shall pass, that we are going through tough times, that it will also go, but it's very, very painful that what we are going through, it's necessary, that they are very unfair to us, those who are responsible for this, that they are evil, according to him, but they will be defeated. It's a matter of time, and peace will also be restored. As well as much, we also had a reaction from the NLC, the Labour Congress, saying that following the high level of the insecurity in the country, the NLC had said that it will announce a firm position in the coming days, even mentioning this yesterday in Lagos during the Congress NEC, that's the National Executive Council meeting, that is insisting that the NLC would no longer sit and watch while bandits and kidnappers take over the country with useless demands for ransom. Also, we had the Catholic Bishop of Sokoto Diocese, the Reverend Matthew Kuka, Hassan Kuka, had expressed confidence in President Tinubu's choice of General Musa, as well, insisting that the country's security crisis requires urgent and firm, uncompromising action. Just want to pick all of this together so that you can react to this. These are reactions to the commander of the Joint Task Force of Operation Fast Yama in the Northwest, Major General Wara Idris, also ordered troops to intensify aggressive operations that is aimed at wiping out terrorists from the region. Side forward, your reaction to the development. Of course, Tinubu also had hailed the Senate for the swift confirmation of the ex-TDS General Christopher Musa as the defense minister.
Well, again, on the new defense minister, General Christopher Musa, I think it is proper, and there's no problem with him sounding very confident, being very optimistic, and of course giving some hope to Nigerians that this is a war. But these criminals have declared war on Nigerians and Nigeria, because again, you can't keep going around abducting people, killing people, and not be seen as a group that have decided to declare war on Nigerians. And so that's why it is important that they should be seen as such. They should be regarded as terrorists, or talk without commensurate action. I'm hoping that again, the former CDH, without any restrictions, to be able to really go after these criminals, work and coordinate with other security agencies apart from the armed forces to get us, a safer, a more peaceful Nigeria. It's a desire, and I'm tempted to want to begin to think that maybe something is going to happen positively. We have divergent views already on this. There are a few Nigerians who are skeptical. Yesterday, you took the opinion of Nigerians when you opened the phone line.
Right.
And you could see that there are Nigerians who think he's not going to do anything. That what's he going to do? He's just somebody who knows how to talk, good rhetorical prowess. But I think we also have to know that, look, it can't be his sole responsibility. We all also have to contribute our own little quota. At the local government level, at the state level, even as a demand that the right things are done. You understand? So we just have to rally. The reality is that there's no other nation that we can call our own. And so when it comes to the issue of insecurity that affects everybody, We all have to be united. Tell the government to do the right thing. Encourage the government where we see that they are making meaningful progress, and then hope for the best. So let's see what is going to change now that we have a new sheriff in town as Minister of the Defense. We just put out a statement telling the government what they expect them to do to keep us safe and better secured. But this idea will no longer fold their arms to see, are you going to go into the bush?
You just mentioned that it's a collective responsibility now, so they're just
the responsibility should be defined. It should be defined and realistic.
And not take on the responsibility of the security personnel.
They can't even take the responsibility. That's the problem. I don't know how they got to the point of saying they will no longer fold their arms. Well, again, I think they were also saying that they were going to call for a day of national money or national money protest or something. I got in one of the papers this morning. I'll just say that, well, let's just continue to tell the government to do the right thing, tell them to do more, put them on their toes. It's unfortunate that it has to take Donald Trump's threat to get us to get more active and more intentional. There's local pressure and there's international pressure. I think we just have to see what happens next. I'm hopeful, I'm optimistic, and I just hope that this optimism would not be dashed. My hopes would not be dashed by non-performance after disappointment.
Right. Thank you for that side forward. We have that across paper on the fact that Ribadu said that Nigeria must protect democracy as Sahel faces coups. Page 41 captures that in the Punch newspaper. And yes, in the Guardian newspaper, the Defense Minister vows swift gains as the NSA warns enemies and Labour talking tough. And also the Vanguard also captured that very story, the bigger story here from the Defense Minister. Page 5 captures the people have been clamoring for. Nearly 2 years, wait has been we did actually, but they attributed, according to the presidency, they attributed the delay partly to financial constraints, right? The government officials had said that many embassies were in disrepair and required refurbishment before new envoys could resume. Even the federal government earmarked about 53 residencies and all of that, and even the presidency has said the delay was meant to ensure the selection of the right candidates. Of course, critics had argued that political wrangling and regional balancing were the real causes. The expert also had warned that the prolonged diplomatic gaps may have cost the country economic opportunities. Even security analysts also had noted that the absence of the ambassadors could expose Nigeria to security threats that are better addressed through the diplomatic channels. But lo and behold, the president had sent in names of nominated ambassadors, right? And so they are going to be facing rigorous Senate grilling next week, side forward, as part of their confirmation. Though 3 notable opposition senators who definitely spoke on the condition of anonymity said that the screening would not be business as usual. Okay. Try and get connection. I lost connection right there. Okay, we'll try and get the connection back. But while we're trying to do that, well, like I mentioned, the in-house persons or sources had mentioned that the screening will not be business as usual, that the plans to put several of the nominees on the spot, right? Another lawmaker had said that the nominees will be properly grilled to ensure that they are fit for the purpose. Even yesterday, yesterday the Senate received the president's request for the confident Godswill Akpabio. It contained the list of 34 career ambassadors and high commissioners, and then 31 non-career nominees. And the latest transmission also came less than 24 hours after the lawmakers had began screening the initial set of the 3 nominees and 4 of the 1999 Constitution, the 15 career ambassadors and 17 non-career ambassadors. Side forward, that's the update about that. Of course, there's still a back and forth. Analysts are still giving their analysis with this, because it's also about the ambassador list. The former vice president Atiku Abubakar for an ambassadorial post. According to him, he said that if he were the president, that he would never nominate a past INEC chairman as an ambassador. Right? He's saying that it will spark debate And according to him, he's saying that appointing the ex-INEC chairman to a diplomatic position would raise serious concern and also risk being interpreted as a reward for the conduct of, one of Nigeria's most disputed election. Side forward.
Well, again, statements like this from Alhaji Atiku Abubakar would be, I'm going to jump on it and say, oh, he's just been a bad loser. He has not really recovered from the defeat in 2023, blah, blah, blah. So, they are going to make it political because, again, you expect that because it is Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, there has to be a political coloration, even though what he has said is just commonsensical. On the basis of common sense, it will be difficult for anybody to argue election. In terms of the optics, it's completely bad. No matter how you want to try to rationalize it, the optics does not look good. The perception is poor, and it could be interpreted. Mahmoud Yakub, Barrister Curtis, said on political roundtable on Sunday, if it looks like a dog, walks like a dog, quacks like a dog, it is a dog. And that's where the issue of perception comes in. These things cannot be happening. You can't begin to be so, inconsiderate of the perception of the people and just continue to do whatever you want to do. And I think the president consistently has also shown that, when it comes to some of these appointments, the people who have their say, he will have his way. Probably doesn't really care about the perception of the people on some of these things. It's just like even this appointment of the Minister of Defense. From the one when Badaru and Matawale were nominated as Ministers of Defense, Nigerians kept complaining and saying that, look, what was the criteria? What was the yardstick to have brought these two men into this very sensitive position? And almost 3 years down the line, the right thing is now being done to get at least someone that you can call a thoroughbred security person into the right position. Now trying to fix the right peg into the round peg into a round hole. So again, I'm sure that nothing would happen really. It's not even of the immediate sole administrator of Rivers State,
Irbas. Yes, Irbas.
And people are saying that Irbas again, you just threw the man to Rivers State to go around the government illegally for 6 months. Because whatever happened in Rivers State for 6 months was an illegality, suspended for an illegal administration.
Side forward. I'm
just saying, whatever it is, it was an illegality. And then how is he suddenly making the list again as an ambassador? Was there anything he did in Rivers State that was enough to qualify him again as an ambassador designate? Apart from even people like Fanika or that people have talked about his temperaments, emotional intelligence, personality, Reno or mockery. And so with a National Assembly that has consistently shown that it is not really capable of doing the job of checks and balances that's expected of them. In the report in the Punch, it is said that, look, they are preparing to do proper grilling.
Rigorous one. It's not going to be business as usual. It's going to be intense one.
So they too are already working up that this idea of bar and go and the shenanigans that comes with their screening process, it does not make sense. You could see that even with the defense minister, because again with security, it affects everybody. We don't know how the ambassadorship the screening would go, but my mind tells me that, look, almost all these people are going to scale through. If one or two of them are dropped, it will be a surprise. So, but it's what it is. We hope that going forward, the president will understand.
Reports of the several findings and
screening.
Yes, the Senate committee. To give the reports after a week. Just quickly, the Guardian newspaper captures about the ambassadorial list as well, that Tinubu had received letters of credence from 17 ambassadors and 4 high commissioners. Yes, that yesterday in Abuja, the president had assured the global community that Nigeria remains committed to promoting peace, harmony, and prosperity across borders, through strengthened partnerships to address emerging challenges. He was making this remark after he received the letters of credence from 17 ambassadors and 4 high commissioners at the council chamber of the State House. That's in the Guardian newspaper.
They are welcome. Those ambassadors who have been posted to Nigeria, so they are all welcome. I think I saw a number of countries there, Japan, Ghana, countries who have sent new ambassadors. You can see that, look, when it comes to international relations, international diplomacy, there are countries who take this thing seriously. Don't allow for any vacuum or gap. This idea of saying we can't run our foreign missions because there's no money, I don't know where that's coming from anyway. You have to renovate buildings. It doesn't have to be too elaborate. I understand that, look, every foreign mission is almost like an arm of the Aso Villa in that country. But whatever we must do to keep them running effectively and efficiently, we must do. We can't be leaving any gap, not even at this time when there's a new world order. The world has become multipolar. It used to be unipolar, but it has become multipolar now. You have nations now that America seems to be stepping back with the American first policy. So Nigeria should not be missing in bilateral relationships, trade agreements. This is the time to get very active. Not by the president going around himself. That's not what
I was about saying that.
But get people up for God's sake. We need to take a rightful place in the global community of nations.
Well, on the big diplomatic overhaul, right, with the brace for the Senate storm, let's hope and see how stormy is going to look. I mean, the screening of the ambassadors. Page 3 captures that in the Punch newspaper. The Vanguard also has that very story.
Don't you think it would have been brilliant if countries are attached to the names of these ambassador nominees?
Yes, it skipped my mind.
What is the rigor that is going to come with nominees without any portfolio? You don't even know the countries they are going to be posted. So if it's going to be rigorous, which we would encourage, which we will call for, which we've always been calling for, can they also tell the presidency, can you please tell us where these people are going to so that we know the questions to ask them? Because I don't see any rigor that's going to come from the man who is appearing before you and you don't know where he's going as an ambassador.
Maybe it's going to be a case of just assume you're going to be representing Nigeria in France, and then they will ask all of them the same thing. What about China?
Every country in the world has got a unique international, what's it called? A global outlook. Every country has its own unique global outlook at the time.
Exactly.
For example, Canada's economic global outlook is different from that of France, from that of the US. So for everyone that's going to be going to these different countries, we need to know whether you even have a background knowledge before we begin to talk about a more holistic and more rounded knowledge of where you are being sent to.
Right.
Again, let's just learn to do the right thing. It's just unfortunate that we keep progressing in error. How do you send people for screening without portfolio?
God help us, because there are some countries that because of some underlining ties, you have to be very sensitive. You have to be
more than ever before. You produce the global view. You should know what I'm trying to talk about here. Things are happening very fast now internationally. Things, when I say very fast, very, very fast, nations of the world are stepping up, stepping on the gas and looking for trade. Look, people are beginning to rewrite their foreign policy recently. And the question was, do you think this American force policy is a temporary thing? And it says, as far as Singapore is concerned, they are trying to pull back from a lot of old trade relationships, is to begin to plan that this will now be the new world order going forward. So they don't see it from it being a temporary thing. They also have to look at their own interests, nations are already getting very serious about these things, but here you are, we don't even know where we are. We have no ambassadors, our foreign missions can't run effectively because we say there's no money. But we are looking for foreign direct investment. How does that happen? How do we expect that to happen?
Well, the Vanguard newspaper also has the nomination of Ibas, Dambazao, and 63 others, Enang and 61 others as ambassadors. Page 3 captures in the Guardian newspaper. Trends in the papers it is on mainland 98.3 FM. We are going through and reviewing the pages of dailies this morning and giving analysis and perspective to that. With the help of in-house analyst side forward. Someone is complaining about our online platform is not working. Which of the online platforms do you mean? The Radio Garden, so that we can, quickly attend to it, or our website? Which of them I would appreciate. Quickly, side forward. The Nnamdi Kanu had, mentioned about why he doesn't want to stay in the Sokoto prison. Right. He said, of course, he was recently convicted and sentenced to life imprisonment as he has filed a fresh motion before the Federal High Court in Abuja, adducing reason to why he should be transferred from Sokoto prison. In a motion, he personally signed and told the court that his detention in Sokoto Custodian Center would hamper his ability to, effectively appeal against his conviction and sentence. And the motion was presented before the trial court yesterday by his brother, actually, Prince Emmanuel Kanu, who is a younger brother to the IPOB leader, Nnamdi Kanu. He said the court, after the sentence, ordered his detention in any correctional facility in the country except the Kuje Correctional Center. And so he's saying that, or he's maintaining that it would be in the interest of the justice for him to be transferred to a facility near Abuja to enable him to effectively prosecute his appeal, praying for an order to compel the federal government and or the Nigerian Correctional Service, NCOS, to, forthwith transfer him from the Sokoto Correctional Facility to a custodian facility within the jurisdiction of his honorable court. And in alternative, he's also seeking an order transferring him to the court's immediate environment, such as the Suleja or the Kefi Custodian Center, for the purpose, of enabling the applicant to effectively prosecute his constitutionally guaranteed right of appeal. Though even the justice had mentioned that the person he even sent is not a legal representative, that he would definitely would take that kind of expertise from a legal representative. That's the update side for it. Your reaction?
Well, I'm hoping, after the old drama that eventually saw the sentencing of Nnamdi Kanu to life imprisonment. Again, my position was that, look, there was poor legal representation for Nnamdi Kanu. That could have happened because of maybe his own actions or inactions too. Because again, at some point he had to sack all of his lawyers. And they had even changed lawyers severally. It was not even about just sacking the last of his lawyers. There have been times that he had even had to change lawyers and change representation in court. And now, the appeal is supposed to be filed within 90 days after his sentencing. Now, the complaint is that, look, keeping me in Sokoto will make it difficult for me to get this appeal done again under Justice Omotosho. You can now see that he's back again in court to the same judge. And whether we like it or not, his behavior during the sentencing was completely poor, very unfortunate. You can't tell a judge you don't know law. Now you are back before the same judge now. And if you look at the story very well, just Omotosho again trying to advise them that, look, don't get this process of appeal delayed. It doesn't have to be present in court to do the things you need to do to be able to file a proper appeal against the sentencing. And he has also told them that, look, you cannot as a private individual file this motion. You have to get a lawyer to do it properly. That's how it's done.
Right.
So I will hope, I'm not a lawyer, but again, if you read through the story, you will see that I think it is very, very important for people who can talk to Nnamdi Kanu to allow for lawyers, proper lawyers, to take up his case and the appeal in political solution. Don't be surprised that if he's able to get proper, sound lawyers who know what they are doing to handle his case, you might just see that there's a legal way out for him, if you understand what I'm saying. So I don't know whether there's really anybody who can, and stop the sentiment and the emotions of ethnicity. But the reality is that, look, it has happened. This is where we are on this case. My mind tells me that, look, if he gets some very solid lawyers who know what they are doing, there could be a legal way out for him.
Well, some might even argue to the fact that, especially on the political solution, that he didn't commit a political offense, that they should even not be seeking for a political solution in the first place.
The thing is that we've seen people who committed similar offense in the past, who had, what you can say, taking weapons against the state, and who were eventually pardoned. So when we talk about political solution, we are saying that, look, it could get to the point where the presidency and the government decides to discontinue the case against it. That's the political solution. There's no other political solution than that. And it will mean that, well, there will be a political resolution where he also could be given some terms and conditions. So that when we release you, this and this will be attached to the conditions to release you. So, but again, I think that if the political solution does not come or will not come, there could be a legal way out if it gets good, proper legal representation in court. The appeal is supposed to be filed within 90 days and get lawyers to do the right thing for you.
Well, that's in the Vanguard newspaper. Away from that, back to the Punch newspaper, there's this report here of the Senate ordering nationwide crackdown as we have lead poisoning hitting Lagos, right? The Senate yesterday had to express grave and intense alarm over a fast-spreading lead poisoning crisis in Ogijo. That's a densely populated community, straddling the boundary between Ikorodu, that's Lagos, and Ogun East Senatorial District. And it described it as a full-blown environmental and public health emergency that is threatening thousands of lives, right? According to the motion that was jointly sponsored by Mukai Adetokunbo Abiru, that's Lagos East, and Benga Daniel of Ogun East, was brought under matters of urgent public importance pursuant to orders 41 and 51 of the Senate Standing Orders 2023 as amended. And so the lawmakers cited, significantly verified reports of extreme lead contamination linked to a cluster of used lead acid battery, recycling factories operating in the area for years. And according to the Senate, they said the crisis had, left residents battling persistent headaches, abdominal pain, memory loss, seizures, a lot of health issues, developmental delays in children, symptoms, strongly associated with chronic lead, shutting down the 7 battery recycling factories and ordering temporary halt to lead ingot exportation pending safety investigation. Side forward.
Well, again, this is very of consideration. So you can't have people who are doing businesses but are putting the health of the people in jeopardy, where people are doing all manner of things. And this is saying that look, a lot of them are traced to these symptoms of headache, vomiting, sickness,
memory loss, seizures.
Memory loss, seizures are traced to the fact that look, there are a lot of companies who are recycling. They don't care about the safety and the health of other people or the people within those communities. I think we have to take a decision. Because again, this idea of having factories like this that put out hazardous chemicals in residential areas is something that we have to check again. You understand what I'm saying, Lady? Right. You can't have factories recycling batteries in residential areas. Recycling batteries. We have a lot of companies now, especially in Ogun State, in the different parts of Ogun State, who have become what you can call environmental nuisance. They dispose of their waste without any recourse to the safety of the people within those communities. A lot of them, we know, we see. And I don't think the ministries of environment in this state today, they don't know. Lagos and Ogun State particularly. But for Ogun State, at least that one I've seen. Where they dispose of their waste without any plan. They just do it anyhow, destroy the people's land. Just almost similar to the things we were seeing for years in the Niger Delta from the oil companies. A lot of them are Chinese companies, actually. We have to say the way it is. They just come in here and do anyhow. This Chinese factory. They don't care about the environment. They misbehave. Nobody controls them. They seem not to be under any control. They just behave anyhow. A lot of them we see, these small factories are there. Just throwing waste into the communities without any plan. And now look at this one now. People are complaining, and these are things that even make people hold countries and governments to account. But we're going to bail the cat. So the government needs to do something because the health of the people is also very important.
Very, very, very.
Yes, we want factories, we want to create jobs, but what about the health of people living in these communities?
Safety comes in different angles. While we are battling with the criminal aspects,
we can't be having bandits in the bush, and then
we are having environmental hazardous situation.
And when companies begin to become bandits, killing people with poison.
Quite unfortunate. I hope that we really see to that because it's also very concerning. Side far, just quickly because of our time. In the last few days, we've been having stage protests, especially at the Ministry of Finance by the contractors handling federal road projects. placed the symbolic coffin at the entrance of the ministry, saying that it actually represented the hardship and death some members had suffered due to the prolonged non-payment. Though the government, the federal government yesterday is moving to calm the rising tensions among the road contractors and assuring that all the outstanding payments will be cleared before December 2025. That's the updates we get. I think about 4 trillion naira. Yes, owing a contract is about 4 trillion.
About
760 billion naira. Yes, demanding. Well, all is well. Away from
they promised to pay them by December 20th.
Yes.
20th of December.
Yes.
That's a good one. So that means their process worked eventually. They have to take coffee to the Ministry of Finance.
A very big one. I saw it. Just quickly, the Punch newspaper also captured the report here from Akwa Ibom. Okay, pardon me. I think I have, from Akwa Ibom State, saying that the Akwa Ibom State Police Command had actually arrested 5 suspects behind the fabrication and circulation of a false kidnapping incident that happened in Oron local government area of the state. So according to the State Commissioner of Police, it disclosed yesterday while he was briefing newsmen during a security meeting with the youth in panic and undermining public peace. And so he assured that assuring the public that the command would continue to take decisive action against anyone who is spreading misinformation or attempt to destabilize the peace of the state. That's the update there from the Punch newspaper. Quickly, this also from the Punch on the VIO heading to the Supreme Court after losing Tʀᴇ impoundment appeal. The Department of the Road Traffic Services, also known as the Vehicle Inspection Officers, they said they will certainly appeal a judgment barring it from imposing fines, according to the acting director of the DRTS. They're saying that they lamented the growing lawlessness in the Federal Capital Territory since the High Court ruling yesterday. They affirmed the lower court judgment barring the DRTS and the VIO from stopping motorists, confiscating vehicles, or imposing fines on road users. So they are saying that they're going to be heading to the Supreme Court after that case. Well, that's also in the Punch newspaper. Side forward.
They've lost at the High Court. They've lost at the Appeal Court when a Nigerian took them to court on the right of what we know as the VIO to not only stop vehicles but also impose fines and impound vehicles. So the High Court has ruled that they have no such powers. That it's only a court that can impose a fine of such. They appealed, and the Appeal Court has also ruled in favor of the judgment. The Appeal Court upheld the judgment to impound vehicles or impose fines on anybody, on any motorist, even though they are saying what they are doing is to keep the roads lawful. I don't know whether they understand their job there. It's not about, they're talking about traffic, the behaviors on the road. I think theirs is about roadworthiness of the vehicle.
Yeah.
It's not about road safety. You understand? Right. We have the road safety already. But more of their own job should be whether you are even the vehicles are safe enough to even be on the road.
To ply the roads.
Or worthy enough to be on the road, to ply the road. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, people are probably complaining about harassment, intimidation, and that look, they could still do their job without necessarily being on the road.
Right.
This idea of every law enforcement agency wanting to be on the road, how does it even sound to us? I told you that recently I also saw NDLEA people on the road.
NDLEA. Anyway, side forward, we have to go. Our time is fast spent. So John Bernard Hui from Facebook is saying, go to Agbara Industrial Estates and see what the Chinese and Indians are doing to our environment. Well, side forward, we'll come back for Mainland Focus. Thank you very much for your time. You have been able to point out, I think it